for many years, digital has been a relatively small part of brand spend. And so, when something's fairly small, it's easy to hide, fees and other inefficiencies. But as anything grows to a certain size, you're talking about tens of billions of dollars, maybe $100 billion in a few years, those inefficiencies start being really material. And you have big brands, you mentioned Unilever, Procter & Gamble has also put a lot of pressure on this, really asking a basic question: where is my money going? And I believe they have the right to know. And that if we want to build trust in the ecosystem, we have to provide that transparency. Digital is really advertising. It's going to be hard to imagine a world where advertising isn't digital. So what AppNexus has done over the last 6 months is done a complete opening of the books. We've publicly disclosed what our take rate is for our SSP business, which we believe is by far the lowest in the industry. We've agreed to be transparent with those SSP take rates all the way through to the brand. So any brand who says, where did my money go through my DSP to AppNexus, we'll tell you exactly how much the publisher made. We're doing that through a partnership with Adobe, through a partnership with a third-party auditor called Amino Payments. We'd like to do it with every major DSP. Of course, our own DSP, which is called APP, is fully transparent for every fee, but that's not enough. You have to be end-to-end transparent for this to work. And so we're hoping is that if we take a leadership position here, that we can show the industry and show all the marketers that this should be expected of every participant. And I think it's going to have the effect of dramatically reducing hidden fees, hopefully eliminating them, and increasing the amount of spend from marketers that gets all the way to publishers. And that's great for publishers. So what we should see is publishers making more money, marketers seeing better outcomes, and a dramatic reduction in the inefficient intermediaries that we've seen in this space for 2 decades now.
So this transparency around the transaction is one thing. What about the bad players, the funky stuff that goes on, the hate stuff, the fake news? There's a lot of things which Keith Weed in his keynote today referenced. How does the industry tackle those sort of things?
Well, I think about 10 years ago, there was a significant shift to audience buying. The idea was it doesn't matter where the ads appear, it only matters who you're advertising to. And so I don't know if you saw the news last week where one of the large DMPs announced that they were purging 10% of all the identities they had captured, that they thought they were probably fraudulent. And so imagine you're a marketer. You think you're buying relevant data, but it turns out that's fraud. And you don't care where you're buying because you trust the data, but of course you're buying across a huge swath of high-risk inventory. And really what you're spending this on is terrible for your brand and having no known outcome. So what we're going to see brands do is very simple. They're going to reduce the breadth of the inventory they'll buy. They're only going to work with quality publishers, maybe one hop away. But this, multiple hops isn't going to work. They're going to cut down their purchasing of third-party data unless it comes directly from a source. And we're going to see, again, a lot fewer intermediaries in this space. And I think it's going to be amazing. I think we're going to see digital start to work when you realize that, paying a couple dollars CPM extra to buy actual human-produced editorial content that someone put care and love into with an audience that's loyal, that isn't just hopping over some clickbait link. Buying that audience, that organic, endemic audience, is incredibly valuable. It has been, as far as we can remember advertising. It's only the last 10 years that the exception to that rule. And so I think we're going to see a return to storytelling, to engagement, and then we'll layer data on top as the icing on the cake. I think that's about right.